Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there. It's time for another edition of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is our train talk from Milepost 141, and it's a summer day.
Beautiful.
It's a little warm outside, but it's beautiful out there.
I like summer. It's my favorite season.
Yep.
Despite what the Cubs are doing. But, should say I like summer despite the Cubs.
There you go.
Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for the little Cubbies.
It has 7-22 in May.
Oh, yikes!
That's not going to get it done, guys. So
no,
we're going to have to pick it up.
There you go.
You know,
so
200 baseball is not winning baseball.
No.
So
no, but to be fair, what is it? Most pitchers or most batters that are pitching 200 or better are actually considered good.
Yes, they are. In today's market, they are. I mean, because they look at OPS, on base plus slugging and all that. But you think a 300 hitter, but I guess back in the day, George Brett in the 80s was like a 400 hitter.
I was going to say 400.
And that was like 40% of the time he gets a hit. So 60% he doesn't do anything. So, I guess you're right.
Yeah, you're
20% of the time you're good now.
Yeah.
It used to be 30%. Now it's 20.
Yeah, and somehow they still make millions.
They do.
How do I get in on that?
I'm wondering how that factors out per strikeout.
Yeah, right.
You know,
there you go.
You know,
that should be the measuring.
Right. If you're going to follow, there you go, guys. Baseball metrics, guys. If you're going to follow metrics, how much per strikeout is that? You know, with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Go from 3-0 to strikeout. 3-0. You know, 3 balls, no strikes, strikeout. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
back to trains, huh? Right.
Well, my little Rangers ain't doing great, but they're not doing bad.
No,
they have a lot of injuries.
They do, but they started the Cubs' downfall. Actually, the Cubs lost 2 out of 3 to them. I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
They won the first game, and that was out at the end of their winning streak, and then they lost the next 2, and then they didn't win another series for a month.
Oh wow!
So
yeah, that adds up real quick, especially in a competitive league.
But you got people out there in the stands going, "No, you guys need to win 2 out of 3, not lose 2 out of 3. Win 2 out of 3."
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're getting the slugging percentage or the batting average mixed up with their winning percentage.
Right, they are. They're just confused.
They're just confused.
But the thing I will say for them, they are helping me get on other projects because I'm less interested in watching them and spending more time at the workbench.
There you go.
Obviously.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of work on the workbench. But,
yeah.
Anyway, before we get into the projects,
and he cleaned the workbench, folks. I've seen it. It is unbelievable.
I did clean the workbench. I got to shoot a couple of our YouTube videos on our podcast. I mean, on our at my workbench.
It's an
showing how to do it. So
George's workbench is now an OCD modeler's dream. It is
pretty much
unbelievably clean.
And this coming weekend, I'm going to go down and get one more of those little organizer drawers because I used to get those. I think it's Office Depot, so I'm going to check the local one first before I go down.
Right.
But but those little drawer things I just got at Office Depot, and I put the tools in it, and then there's a shelf on the top that I can put some other stuff like little projects, put it away.
Yep.
And I've got room now for one more. So I think I'm going to do it before I clutter it up with crap.
You clean it all off, and then you go, man, I got room for more storage. But yeah, it looks really good. It does, as far as the modeling aspect goes, it's definitely great, especially if you're installing decoders or whatever you're doing, to have your workbench clear like that so you can focus on exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend half your time looking for the tool, or let's say something flies off a little bit. You know, if it only goes a couple of feet, a couple of inches or something, or falls right in front of you, it's easy to find. But if it falls over into the pile of clutter, oh man, good luck. Yeah, or
like I've done, if mine's messy, I'll have all my parts, all stuff over here, and I got no room for my engine, and I'll set this over here, and you accidentally touch something that shouldn't be touched with the soldering iron. Yeah. Then you're like, what happened there? You know, I don't have room, so.
Oh, now suddenly it becomes a wrecked piece.
Right. Yeah, it looks like I took a candle to it and just melted the back of it or something.
Yep. Well, before we get into the projects, I do want to remind everybody we have some shows coming up.
Yep.
It's been a while since the Rocky Mountain show we did in early April.
Yep.
Seems like an eternity for somebody who likes to get out and travel.
I know. Yeah, it's
that's one of my favorite parts of this job is getting out and meeting you folks and getting to see the various shows, getting to see the layouts, all that fun stuff. So I thoroughly enjoy doing that. So I'm excited. We're going to get back out on the road.
Yep.
First off, we have the St. Louis RPM coming up. That's out in Collinsville, Illinois. So don't let the name fool you.
Right.
It's just across the river from St. Louis. But this is arguably one of the best RPMs. I've met you a couple of times at that RPM.
Yeah.
And it's July 24th and 25th this year of 2026. And Collinsville, it's at the what are they called? The Gateway Center.
The Gateway Center, Convention Center there in Collinsville, right off of It's right off of I-255 and I-64 there.
Yep. It's right around there. So a lot of good stuff. You'll see some fantastic modeling. And as I mentioned last week, or last time I should say, is that I'll bring my 1976 there and bring it with me. So I'll have that out on display. But there's some fantastic models you'll see at these RPMs. A lot of great stuff. And man, it's one of my favorites because you get to see the work.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what, the RPM can kind of become mislabeled as, this is for the perfectionists and stuff like that.
Right.
And to be fair, it kind of sort of started that way a little bit, but the RPMs has grown into such a great community, such a great interaction with folks, and everybody's happy to share their techniques with you. It's not like you're, I did this. Oh, well, I'm not telling you how I did it. You go figure it out on your own. No, they're more than willing to talk about it.
Right, and they usually have, they'll have chairs at their displays where you can go up and talk to the modeler and ask him or her how they did these particular things. And, especially weathering, that's where we got a lot of things from weathering.
Yep.
They do several clinics there, and it's like George said, it's a fantastic show. They used to do a lot of announcements there back before the internet really kind of took over all that stuff. But they did a lot of announcements there and other train shows. But that was one of the big RPMs where people would show up with that regional announcement, and they would show up, like Scale Trains would show up, or Athearn would show up with something or one I remember in particular was
Exactrail.
Exactrail showed up. Blaine Hatfield, when he was with Exactrail, showed up and announced that Missouri Pacific 3737 Bethlehem Steel Quad Hopper there. Of course, I immediately went out and got a loan to buy mine, but
right.
I didn't tell anybody when I got home. I didn't tell my wife that. And I was like, it was a good show. It was great. Everything went fine, just splendid.
Exactly.
But it's some really great announcements at that show and memories there.
Yep.
It's a lot of, like George said, a lot of great modelers there, guys that have a lot of passion and a lot of talent in the hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and because it's the biggest, you get people traveling from a lot of faraway places to come visit it, and all the manufacturers are there, all the major ones anyway. So we'll of course be there. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the following weekend, and you're going to be at this one as well with me. We're doing the National Train Show down in Chattanooga, down on August 1st and 2nd.
Yep.
They cut the National Train Show instead of 3 days. Now it's just the 2 days, the Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
But Chattanooga is a great place. You got a lot of great tourist places around, so turn it into a trip. You've got, of course, the Tennessee Railway Museum, or what is it, the Tennessee Central or something like that.
Yeah, I think
there's the excursion railroad there that you can ride. You're less than an hour away from Pigeon Forge, which has a lot of great tourist traps.
Yep.
Tourist attractions.
Yeah.
Including places like Dollywood.
Yeah.
You've got They've got the Ripley's Aquarium, I think, at Pigeon Forge also.
Right.
My brother lives in Knoxville, so between the two, I'm actually going to visit him in Knoxville between the two shows for a few days, and hopefully get to partake in some of those things.
Yeah, and I would say so. I hope so.
And then I'll pick you up at the airport on Thursday night,
and
then we'll drive down to Chattanooga and check into the hotel, and set up the train show, and then maybe we'll go chasing trains for.
We tried to get tickets on the choo-choo, but it wasn't. It's not going that day in Chattanooga. So
So, but we'll have to see what.
I'll just stick to modeling trains.
There you go. So anyway, if you guys are out in the area and for either of these shows, be sure to come out and see us. We're there. We're here to help you. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, be sure to come talk to us in person.
Yep.
Because nothing's more important to us than your enjoyment of the hobby. So we want to make sure that you're enjoying it. So if you have any questions, please come out and see us at these shows.
Yep.
And enjoy the show. I mean, you're going to see a lot of the major manufacturers at the National Train Show. There's a lot of great layouts operating at the National. And you're going to see NMRA members coming from all over the country to come visit that show. So, and it's a week-long convention the week before. So if you have a chance, go to the NMRA website, check out the convention details, and go from there. Yeah,
they have some good clinics and stuff. That convention's always kind of nice, where they bring a lot of talented people from the hobby and do the clinics and stuff for you.
Absolutely.
So definitely check that out too. You can sign. I think you can still sign up. Ad hoc,
you can still go to the
ad hoc, or if you don't have to sign up for the whole thing, do you, or can you still do?
I don't remember. You'll have to check out the website. But you used to be able to sign up for bits and pieces of it. But check it out, because they're going to be better answering than I can.
And likewise.
So. Anyway, the last thing as far as trade shows are concerned, this is one. The Colorado RPM is in Greeley in October. I'm on the the convention committee. Holy crap! First day of my new mouth. But anyway, I'm on the convention committee. I'm the one in charge of clinics. So, guys, this is going to be a really fun show. We doubled our attendance last year, and it was only our second one. So we're real excited about it. Looking forward to a nice big new one this year. So coming up in a podcast, we'll have Michelle Kempema, who's the curator, I guess, of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, but also the head of this Colorado RPM. And so we'll have her and a couple of other board members, including myself, and we'll talk about it. But that's coming up in October, so go to the Colorado RPM website. I think it's corpm.org. And check out the information, sign up, come out and see us. It's a great time. And, of course, you get access to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, which is a fantastic venue, a fantastic museum, and really a layout you got to see.
I probably will attend this at least one day this year. I won't do it at SoundTraxx, but I'll come up there. Maybe bring some models with me, but I'd like to just come up and see it and see the museum myself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fun. So you haven't been up there yet.
No, I've not been.
So we need to fix that. Yeah. So anyway, with that, let's talk about projects. Do you want to go first?
Sure. Mine's easier. It's not. George's is finished. This one is another. I think a few podcasts ago, I mentioned the other U-boat I had. I've got a couple of them. This is the other one. It's different. It's slightly different in that it has the AAR sight frames on it. Mopac had, both kinds. They had the AAR. They had like the first 7, I think. So anyway, this is going to be one of the first 7 U-23Bs they had, and it'll get basic details added to it. Details West Air tanks. The side frames are replaced with Atlas. Retooled these later on, and they'll have these actually have separate. The new ones are going to have separate brake cylinders and stuff like that on them. I will use the Gotham Rail and Marine GE. Wheel slip indicators and or speed recorders on the sides where they're applicable. Etched metal steps, of course, and then the usual. This will come off and
put a brass horn on it.
Yeah, we'll take this off, and actually the U-boats had them up here.
Correct.
So we'll fill that
Mopac
in.
Ones.
Yeah, Mopac U-boats had them up here. This will be a Mopac 4502, I think is what this is going to be. This will get the KV models. Radiator grills and core in the back.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Then inside of it will be a decoder buddy. I've taken it out right now, so I've started on it. And then 2 scale sound system speakers will set right here. One here. I cut some metal down here and then put a piece of styrene to glue to. So I'll do the same in the back, so I can put my glue the speakers on it, so they'll set right over the flywheels, and the Decoder Buddy Mini will sit right there. SoundTraxx decoder inside, of course.
Nice.
And then LED lightings, and the GEs will have step lights down here instead of up top like the EMD. The GEs have them down at the bottom, and then of course the truck lights will be right there. So there'll be some machine work done, maybe just a little bit, but other than that, it'll be. Utah Pacific. I'm going to go back old school on this and put Utah Pacific's brass stanchions on it. TJ Model Trains out west has bought Utah Pacific. So you guys that like to build the GEs, also in addition to EMDs, I mean, they have precision scale. They have those handrails. They have the PIA handrails, precision invested castings, the old Gordon Cannon Masters.
That's the whole Prantle enterprise.
Yes, and they're great people. They have Utah Pacific in this, and
And you can buy SoundTraxx decoders from them too.
Yes, you can. And they have Smoky Valley details, train station products. What's that line was all kind of one thing. And then even some of the Detail Associate stuff. I don't know exactly how much, but Detail West.
Yeah, Details West. I know.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. This Jinx Blue. Yep. This are the bus on the cab, 20-inch numerals on the side.
Yeah, because in the 4500 they went to the Eagle.
Yeah, they
small Eagle.
Yeah, they blanked this out. The big Turbo Eagle was blanked out on these on the 45. So like 4501, I think is the only one that kept its Eagle before it was gone.
Okay,
but that's the only one. Like the rest of them got painted out, and then the 20-inch numerals went here. So
yeah, when I do my U23s, I'm going to start because when they were delivered in the 2250 series number series, and so that was post or pre collecting amassing 300 plus GP38s, which then overtook that number series, and that's why they got moved to the 45 and 4600 numbers.
Right, that's right. So that's what I'm doing it like post 1980. Rock Island acquisition is actually what pushed it over, like you're saying. And then, so this is post 1980, so it'll have, the other thing it's going to have is the blanked out windows here. And what I'm going to do here is I've made a block that sits in the mill, and I will mill down inside this cab here. And then all I'm doing is creating like a little bit of a lip, like maybe 20 thousandths of an inch, if that I can glue the high-tech details side on there, maintain the structural integrity of the cab, of the Atlas cab, but putting the high-tech details side on there with the blanked-out windows to give that professional look instead of trying to just paint over the windows, which I used to do. This will look a lot nicer.
Yeah, that'll look good.
Yep.
So you're going to have to get on it. So hopefully go away, Cubs.
Yeah, they are.
Cubs.
They're helping me get on this. I mean, I'm gathering parts right now. Most of the parts are here, so I'll be starting on it here shortly. I got to shave a little bit with the block. I was testing the block last night for the cab. That's why the windshield's not in it now. I had the cab off it last night. I need to take a little bit more off the cab just to get the block that I made to sit inside there, and that way she'll be nice and snug, and I can hold the device and then cut it with a 16th of an inch drill bit. Milling bit. All
right. Well, you have to get working on it. So, this is one that I started working on for a friend of mine. This is a hybrid.
Yeah.
The front part of this is a Broadway Limited 282 Mikado, actually in their Blue Line series. So he's had it for a while.
Yeah.
And it was numbered 1111. But what he wants to do, and understandably so, is their Broadway Limited markings on the cab are not accurate. They just have the 1111 and nothing else on it. But there's a lot of more on here. You've got the Cooper rating. You got some information about the cylinders, the driver diameter, and everything.
Right.
And then, of course, the sublettering MP under it, and then, of course, the road number. So he just didn't like that. So he had me redo that. And then he bought a brass tender because in his era and where he's modeling in southern Louisiana, they were a lot of oil tanks. Oil burners down there all over the place. And so what we did is he bought this brass tender, and I adapted it to fit and model with this steam engine. So the Broadway Limited steam locomotive on the front, the brass tender on the back, and the decoder and 4 cube speakers actually reside here in the tender. And then I rewired using our DBX 9000 and wired it up to the front. So now I have a firebox flicker, which is under the cab. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera version. And then there's actually a firebox light inside the cab as well. So, and it's just the one LED, so it looks like the small little hole that you would normally see when in an oil burner, because they build all that up, so you can't like open it up and look at it like you used to could with coal.
You wouldn't need to anyway.
Right, you wouldn't need to.
So it was so the oil was pumped in there.
Correct. Yeah. But I didn't do a whole lot of modifying inside, so it still has the butterfly technically, but the LED is just a little bit LED button on there. And this is one of the cool things. So I adapted and changed how the headlight works. So I mounted the LED actually inside the casting. And I'm going to go ahead and start screen recording here because, of course, it's Blunami.
Right.
He wanted to go Blunami. And so we'll go ahead and turn on the headlight. And a nice, bright headlight. It's right there in there. And then what I did was I filled the back of that up with some microscale crystal clear and then painted it.
Right.
So that way it was sealed up in there so you don't get flash or shining back on the smoke box front.
Right.
And then I routed the wires down to the plate. The mounting plate routed them across, and then drilled a small hole above the plate mounting, so you almost can't see the wires.
You can't. And then the other thing, you got rid, like you said, you got rid of that light tube.
Yeah, the light tube. There's no light tube anymore, so that had this open hole on the front of the smoke box. So I had to putty that in and paint that over, and I used True Color graphite. And
very impressive.
Looks really good.
Oh my gosh! It does.
So I added the number boards on the front, and that's a Mopac thing. They had a lot of those steam engines with the Mopac on there.
Yeah.
But stripped it down, painted, lettered the tender, rewired everything up, and right now, yes, you're hearing coal. We're going to go ahead and change that to an oil. So I'm going to show you how to do that using the screenshot really quickly.
Right.
So we're going to go into sound settings, and I'm trying to remember if this is under main sounds. No, it's not under main sounds. It's probably under other sounds. Blower, side rod, brakes, Johnson bar. Oops, didn't mean to move that. Water stop, injector. Where is it? Fuel type. Here it is. So here it says it's hand shoveled coal, and of course we want oil burner. So that's going to change. So now you're hearing the atomizer.
Yep.
As it's going, and then we're going to go ahead and hit that. So now the firebox and the will match kind of the oil. And what I did is I did the firebox light in the cab and the one below at different flash rates, phase A, phase B, so they don't match. So they look more random, especially if you're looking at it from back here. It looks like you're looking at the same fire from different angles. So that's kind of cool. But one of the things that is really cool about the Mopac on their steam engines is that, especially the oil burners, is they had an oil firing light. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
So an oil firing light, when the fireman is here, and it's harder at night, but one of the things they do is they watch the mixture of oil and the smoke and the steam and everything. So they look at the color and the density of the smoke coming out to make sure they're firing the fire as efficiently as they can.
Right.
Well, when it's night, how do you do that? You can't.
Right.
So what I did was up here on the front, and you can see this picture I'm putting on the video of the Mopac light. And this was the first time I'd actually done this on a steam engine, so I was actually pretty happy with it. But when you come over to the light here, there's actually a light that shines up over the stack, so that the fireman can look and see what the thickness of the mixture is, look through it at night so he can see it.
That's cool.
So that was one of the cool little additions I put on this one that's unique.
Very.
And that's something that's definitely, something that most people look. For years, I just thought it was another exhaust port like for the air compressor or one of the other fixtures on there. But then, I say recently, within the last few years, I found out that was actually an oil firing light. But modeling diesels primarily, I don't have an oil-fired steam engine. So I asked my friend if he wanted me to put that on there, and he said, hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we did. So the LED is sitting on, I put a piece of brass wire and glued the wires to the brass wire so that it had some rigidity.
Yep.
And then I bent the angle of the light back and then painted it.
Yeah.
And so from the sides, it's a lot dimmer than from the front, because the paint's on the side of the LED as well.
Yeah, that's great.
So it took a steady hand, but that's one of the cool features that you can get with the doing different things. And as you learn more, you can add more of those type of things. So that's a really cool effect.
It is.
And he's super happy. I can't wait to get this back to him.
He's gonna love it. I love the firebox flicker. Is really, you can see it right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
and
nice.
It's just subtle enough that if you were to dim the lights, you can certainly see it. And I'll put an inset video showing all the lights lit up on this. On this one, I didn't go as far as going with the class lights and everything. Because it's not mine, and he doesn't use that stuff. So I just left it the way it was. But we did put the oil light on there because that's a neat, unique feature, especially looking at it from here.
Yeah, he wanted the tender, and he got the modified tender, and so he's got him a Gulf Coast Mopac steam engine.
Yep, exactly. So just for grins, we'll go ahead and start running. And I mean, the Broadway models run really smooth. And just for grins, we're going to go ahead and wheel slip. And we'll go back. We're going to turn off the cylinder cocks, and we're not selling ice cream, so we're going to go ahead and
turn the bell off.
And turn the bell off. But, I mean, it runs extremely well. And then we're going to change direction here, and you got a nice bright reverse light on there. And then we're going to go ahead and move. And I haven't really done much to it. He has his own method of changing things that he likes.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, since it was done, I wanted to bring it in, show it off, and show something unique like the oil fire light.
Yeah, well, with Blunami also, it's a snap for him to customize it whatever he wants.
Oh yeah, he can do it. And I mean, honestly, you know, he has a lot of Bachmann steam engines, and so he has calculated, and especially those decapods, he's got his own CB209, 210 to all those vacuum FCV settings for the decapods to run smooth, and so he just copies and pastes them to each one of those. And this is Broadway, so the mechanism is going to be a little bit different, so he probably doesn't need to, but other things he could easily copy and paste easily. And but he may start this from scratch, because this is the first one he's going to have this, you know, fully done like this. And what's interesting is modeling in the 20s in a, you know, Louisiana coast. This is going to be one of the biggest engines he has on his layout.
Really?
And he said, well, I don't know how much I'll get to use it, but I said, well, when I'm done with it, it's going to be one of your favorite engines to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so
that's fantastic.
But yeah, he's looking forward to it, and as soon as this is done shooting, I'm packing it up and shipping it to him. So he'll have it. So I wanted to make sure to have it to show off here.
Very nice.
So he's happy with it, and I've been sending him pictures and everything. The only thing is, it's a ghost train. There's no crew figures. He's going to have to fix that. I'll have to harass him over that.
Yeah, he needs a crew in there.
I don't have any crew figures, so it's up to him. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mute this guy, and we'll go ahead and turn off the lights, and the firebox will continue on. So with that, that's what it's been, the modeling. And so I've been picking at this in between finishing up the 1976 and doing some other projects that I've got coming up. So been busy on the workbench, but like you talked about, one of the biggest things I'm excited about is I got my workbench cleaned off.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I've got things organized. I brought in another, that you can go to Harbor Freight and get one of these little mini toolboxes, the mini metal ones. And so I filled that up with a bunch of the clutter that was up there. And man, it looks nice.
It makes a difference. I mean,
it really does.
I mean, it's nice, clean, and got, like, you know, when you're doing step lights, you know, I'll drill those little things that Nick Santo has for those. I got my drills staged there, but that's all I've got out there. So I know they're all in order, and I just go 1, 2, 3, 4 to step it up. And same thing, same process for this thing. You know,
Absolutely.
And then paint booth outside, but I mean in the garage. But got the paint ordered for this today too. So
nice. About time. We're gonna have to light the fire around here because we gotta get that done soon.
Well, I've got 2 of them. I got another one with FB2 trucks, and I'm working on it also. So I'm gathering parts for both of them at the same time, because I won't build them at the same time, but it'll have a little bit of work done to the trucks on it too, just to try to make them look a little bit better. But all in all, Atlas, it's a bulletproof mechanism. It's one of my favorite engines, and one of my favorite releases Atlas did. And that's, you know, it's hard to believe it's like, what, 97, 1998, I think. And it's just as solid as it was back then. As solid
as it was. Yeah, I've got a couple of those. That one that I did that we talked about here on the podcast a few months ago. I say a few months ago, it's probably half a year now, it seems like. And I did a video on it where I did the different momentum rates. But anyway, that one was around that same era, but it was the first ones when they ventured into the QSI stuff. So it had the big A-frame speaker mount that I had to change out. But it's that same era type of stuff. So but if you haven't seen that, go back and watch some of the old videos, and then check out the YouTube video where I talk about the momentums and setting the GE at a higher rate because they loaded up differently than the EMD. Felt like it would never get going to some of these engineers.
Yes. One of our favorites, Kevin. Kevin probably won't be looking forward to this one, but it might be more of like bring back flashbacks of nightmares for him.
There you go.
And it would be like pleasant memories of working the Mopac in one of those.
There you go. So the last topic we've got, we want to talk about a tech tip, and this is something that's come up quite a bit when it talks to stall current. And I know, when we rate our decoders, they're rated for stall current. And we say this is a 1 amp decoder, or 2 amp decoder, or 4 amp decoder. And we always talk about stall current. And I hear it in the hobby, I see it on the forums and stuff like that, where everybody says, well, I've never locked up my mechanism, so I don't need to worry about stall current. And I just hate to tell you that I'm going to give you some technical aspects of it as to why it's important. And I know we get decoders back
all the time
that are, motor driver damage because they didn't pay attention to the fact that the 21 pin is only a 1 amp decoder.
Right.
And so, and if you don't understand how a decoder controls the motor, then it's easy to not to assume that you just have to make sure you don't lock up your mechanism.
Right.
And it's very rare to lock up a mechanism. I mean, you may have a heavy train pulling behind and the wheels just stop rather than slip, because then I hear, well, we're going to test in slipping current.
Right.
And that's not the same. And so the motor is controlled by the decoder, and most people equate it to a traditional DC power pack, where 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volts, the motor turns faster. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that the decoder is using what's called pulse width modulation. Most of you folks have heard that term, pulse width modulation, or PWM.
Right.
So to break it down into a layman's terms, pulse width modulation, the decoder is sending out momentary pulses of full track voltage, but for short periods of time. And then it'll be off, and then it'll send another pulse, and then it'll be off and send another pulse. And as you increase the speed of the motor, but using your throttle or your app or whatever, mm-hmm. the decoder then increases the duration of these pulses. And so it's modulating or changing the width or the duration of the pulse so that way it can control the motor. So even if you're moving at speed step 2 or 3, your motor is still seeing momentary pulses of 14 volts or whatever your track voltage is. And of course, these are in milliseconds, but for abbreviated time. And then as you increase, the duration will go from, say, 3 milliseconds to 6 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. So to kind of put it into illustration, and for those of you watching on video, I've got some screenshots and pictures here, but in a 1 second window, if you're running at 25% throttle, what's that, about roughly speed step 30 or something?
Yep.
Your decoder is sending full power to the motor for approximately 25% of a second or a quarter of a second, and then it's off the rest. Now, of course, these are measured in milliseconds, but you get the idea.
Right.
So the reason stall current is important is because every time you go from 0 to speed step 1, that first pulse of power gets sent to the decoder, or to the motor, and the motor's at rest, which equals stalled.
Right.
Which means so that when you get that first pulse of power, that motor takes that full amount of current, of stall current, to get turning. Mm-hmm. Now, as the motor starts to turn, the motor efficiency, your flywheels, all that kind of stuff play into factors, and so your stall current just drops like a slide.
Right.
But it's important to pay attention to the stall current of your motor, simply because every time you go from 0 to speed step 1, your decoder is recreating stall current. And when we had the original Tsunami, we had the micro Tsunami, which was rated for 3/4 of an amp. There was a quick burn fuse that was in line with that motor to protect the motor components. That was the single biggest repair we ever had with the original Tsunami.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because people, and to be fair, this isn't common knowledge. This is something I didn't understand, and I was of the same mindset.
Right.
Well, I've never locked my mechanism up. Why do I need to worry about it? But when you understand how it works, it is very important to understand that, because when you see it, now you realize how important it is to measure stall current. And the good news is, for most HO models, most HO 1 amp is more than adequate.
Right. Because they're not going to get anywhere close to an amp.
No. That one won't, this one won't.
Right.
And now when you start going back to some of the Athearn early gold box and the blue boxes, and the gold motors with the blue box, or even the gray motors in their blue box.
Oh, yeah.
And the open frame Pitman motors, you need to test those.
Right.
And get a decoder that matches it, or replace the motor with a more efficient.
Right, because just the design of that engine, of those locomotives, and the way they pick up power also creates that drag and that pull. And another one that's like that is from the early 90s is the older Proto 2000 E units. The older ones, the real heavy ones.
Yes.
Those things will stall out about 3.5 amps. I mean, some of them will just pull amperes like crazy. So you definitely need to do the stall current test, and then go to our YouTube page. And George has got several videos on there how to do it. It's really simple to do, but you'll be better off in the long run, and you'll be enjoying your decoder instead of sending it back in for repair.
Right, absolutely. So always pay attention to the specs you get with the decoder, because they're there for a reason. They're not there because we're just trying to scare you or throw numbers at you that you don't understand. And if you have any questions, call us at the office. Talk to Tom in support or me, and or email us at support@soundtraxx.com, and we'll have a deeper conversation. But if you want to see more on stall current, go to youtube.com and search SoundTraxx stall, and that's all you need. And boom, there's the video up there.
Right.
I've got a core switcher that I did stall current tests on. We show a couple of different methods on how you can test for stall current, and then compare the two with the results, and then show you some graphic illustrations.
You'll be better off by doing it that way. You'll know going into the decoder. Do it before you purchase the decoder. That way you know which one you're going to buy.
Exactly. Now in this particular case, I used a 2200.
Right.
So that a 2 amp is more than adequate.
Right.
And remember, you can go up to 2 amps in the 2200. So if you have a motor that stalls, say, half an amp, you're not going to burn it up by going with a 2 amp decoder. It's not going to force 2 amps into that motor.
Right. It's just going to give you an extra.
It's going to give you that cushion.
Yep.
And the motor is going to draw what it draws
right.
of the available supply of 2 amps.
This one will get a 21 pin because the space, and like I said, the current draw is there.
Yep.
The threshold, it's within the threshold of the 21 pin. But it also is getting 2 speakers because that's another subject for another podcast because of the amplifier.
Yep, absolutely.
2 speakers instead of 1.
Hopefully that's been helpful for you. And like I said, if you want to have further questions, give us a call. Either Tom or myself will be happy to discuss it with you, because stall current is an important thing that's often overlooked or just assumed that we're just trying to scare you or whatever. But no, there's a lot more to it. And, pulse width modulation, that's how all these motor lighting effects are, motor control lighting effects are done. So even the firebox flicker you're seeing here on the steam engine, that's all done through PWM. Mars lights, gyro lights, rotor beacons, all that's done through PWM. So, check it out and learn about it and make sure you understand it. So that way you have more success with your decoder installs.
Yep.
Excuse me. So I think that's everything we've got prepared for us today.
Yep.
We ran a little longer than I planned, but there's a lot of cool stuff to show off,
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Mopac steam and then a future Mopac U-boat.
Yep. So we'll have to see progress over the next couple of podcasts.
Yeah, these are old hat. I've done these before. I just haven't, as usual, most of them get sold. Friends of mine buy them. But these are mine. I'm keeping them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yep.
So with that, that's everything we've got. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I didn't mention, this is our 49th episode, so we have to plan something big for 50 next time.
Yeah, that's right. The golden.
We'll have to have some fireworks or something.
Yeah. Well, it'll be around that time, I guess, won't it?
Well, it'll be after. We
have some leftover fireworks.
Yeah, we got some leftover fireworks that didn't fire off.
We'll have to get a permit for that.
There you go.
Just shoot a picture of them laying up here. You can assume what happened to them.
Exactly. So, podcast 49, season 3, episode 14. That's been it. Train Talk from Outpost 141, the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. Hopefully this has been entertaining and informational for you. If you have any comments, leave them in the description or in the comments section below. And if you like this type of video or the podcast, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so that you'll get notified anytime a new podcast goes live. We try to post these about every 2 weeks right now, I think is where we're at. So, anyway, that's it. That's everything we got for you guys. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.